stops them as a result of a phone call. They say, no, it's not really your first time you've heard about it, and that'll be $250 fine. And all of a sudden, it just stopped.
Your rangers are really good, and they're friendly too. I don't know where you found them, but nice job, guys. Thank you.
Last summer, somebody lives on the lake took it upon themselves to put a houseboat or a pontoon boat.
There's a pontoon boat with an engine.
With a 40 horsepower outboard. It was a Bass Lake Club member who called you guys and let you know it was out there. Several members who walk that area will go past the cars that are parked with a boat trailer by them, and are they displaying a permit? Basically, what we're doing is
Community,
so your rangers don't have to go out there nearly as often.
community vigilance.
But not vigilante. I mean, we aren't nasty folk. Really, honestly,
I'm not suggesting that you are.
Yeah, I know. Give me a cigar, I'll be your friend.
And this lady back here had some comments also.
Hi, I'd just like to say Tommy did a great job with these fire two models. We have, the club itself has, for years and years and years, as long as I've been there, I've been there close to 30 years, all formulated work parties, at least once or twice a year, up until about 5 years ago, where everybody comes down, meets the area. If for no other reason you need to keep the use agreement because of Chris Parker, he's your hotline of what's going on that lake. He's down there every morning, rain or shine, sometimes in the snow and the ice.
This morning, the work with auditorium.
There you go.
Chris was one of finding otters. We have a breeding pair of otters on the lake now. Chris took photographs of them and put them on Facebook.
Yes, he's got it too. And another thing too is typically, and not so much anymore as groups, but individually, we have parties where we get into those invasive species and knock them out. We are very good neighbors.
For those of you who have not had the opportunity to do so, you should look at some of these great photographs that they submitted showing some of the uses of the property over the years. They really show a great slice of history.
This will be online later today. Anybody wants to see it, give me your email address and I'll email you a copy. We only made up 10 copies.
This photograph one referenced with the boathouse almost makes it look like it's not that.
Yeah, that was our property, and the boathouse pretty well dissolved itself in 1975. It's no longer there. But when we bought the property, I remember in 1924, then the boathouse was there. We eventually moved a lot of the boats into the little lagoon there, and every spring we put boats in the lagoon, and we gave that up too. That was another one of the what word am I using? Yeah, to offer to the park district, because like I said, we're your neighbors, we're your friends, and we're on the same team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
John, you had previously sent us communications. Is there anything that you'd like to add in connection with this issue?
I don't. My only recommendation would be this. Hear me out here, folks. Rather than renew for 5 years, I would renew for 1 year, just until this board gets an executive director in place. I just feel with the chance for different leadership in the future, they have the opportunity to review that a year from now, and then renew it 5 years. I can tell you, just like I said in my memo, special privileges relating to reservations. Early reservations are not typical, but that's for negotiation consideration to use board field at the Bass Lake Club reciprocates enough return, so that's really up to you.
I mean, I have questions to ask. Right now, Bass Lake Club has their boats on the 5-acre property down there, correct?
Correct.
And there's no lottery, but they get to do it, or no other Geauga County resident can keep their boat there. They gotta schlep them back and forth, just because they live close to a property that was purchased by the park, not really given. And I don't think we afford that to anybody else. It's not the same thing. This is a Geauga Park District park, not a private lake like Lake Lucerne or DPJ or some of the other lakes. And I just question how we can extend to a very, very small group of people the use of a park over any other Geauga County resident. They can book it just like anybody else could, correct? I mean, I'm a bit perplexed. We're removing the equipment down there because tetherball and horseshoes are offensive to the preservation of the property, yet boats sitting out there all the time aren't.
Question to someone who lives in the community. Is there a property where the boats could be stored other than a Park District property?
Their homes.
I'm unaware if there's anywhere specific for them to be stored. However, we purchased, put together 3 of the 4 boat racks that are there. And it is one of the benefits for members that pay $10 a year to have their boat there. So that is a benefit just for the members. But we did put them up and build them for them, and we monitor them as well.
And I would ask, do you get complaints from the community that they don't keep their boats down there?
Yes, we have had a few people ask if they can apply for a lottery to keep their boats down there also.
To answer your question, to eliminate your perplexed state, it's a quid pro quo, if you will. Tom did a good job of enumerating all the reasons why we have the use agreement. We're not just sitting there reaping a benefit because we live there. We're doing things for you, and all we ask in return, for you to recognize that this has been the heart of this Bass Lake community for almost 100 years. Okay? This is the center of our community. And we've been good stewards of the lake, and we continue to be eyes and ears for the park district. I don't know that providing space for a dozen boats is a whole lot of action.
Well, but at the same time,
I'm just asking, I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting that they're asking
That's
something
correct.
quid pro quo. I'm just saying that if, to the extent that this argument with regard to offering priority has any merit, it would dissolve to some degree if there weren't private boats stored on public property. So I was just curious to know if there's any arrangement that can be made in that regard.
We did give you the land which housed our boathouse. And we did that in exchange. It's a handshake. In exchange for permits and the use of the boat. This is, even, it's fair. I don't know what the property was worth when we gave it to you, but in 1924, we paid $10,000 for it. I couldn't tell you what it's worth, but I can tell you, we gave it to you free and clear with a handshake between honorable people which said, you can have a couple of slots on the lake out of 10, out and 2 out of 12, and you can have some racks. That was the deal.
And I'm not for gray here, so forgive me for asking this, but if a member of the public wants to launch their boat there, where do they go?
Oh, it's simple. There's a parking lot there, there's a turnaround, there's a ramp. So if you've got a rowboat or a
I
canoe.
went there, but I didn't, when I went, there was snow and ice, and so I didn't.
It's cold.
It was like,
No, there's a ramp, and that works fine for small craft. And you need
I appreciate your comment.
The permit is free.
I think I know where you're coming from. Here's a piece of property that's 100 years old. It's been well maintained over those years. We have a covenant with the Park District. We want to be sure that we're shaking hands as we did when we first got it, right? A
Exactly.
handshake is a handshake.
A handshake does not go away.
That's right.
For my part, I'm comfortable extending the use agreement that we put in place in 2010. I want to be sensitive to the comments of the executive director that perhaps this should be revisited after there is more permanent management. But I don't want to saddle whoever would be selected as the new executive director with a whole bunch of things that are waiting for attention. So rather than a year, I guess I would like to make a motion that we extend this 2010 use agreement with the same text for 2 years with the effective date of July 1.
Okay, but I still have, I
Yes, I'm
wonder
sorry.
if we can amend part of it to address everybody in Geauga County. So right now, if we go through it and you look, if we could take the time and have someone go through that would offer possibly vote slips to other groups. I mean, I have asked Brett, you do all the maintenance there. Isn't it challenging to weed whack around all these things? Maybe we could add, they'll start weed whacking. I mean,
It takes time. We used to do all the mowing, and the park district decided they wanted to do it.
really, that doesn't say that in stuff, it just says the
Yeah,
contract
there's
is up.
a 2010, and Mr. Oros has a copy of it, an amendment to this in 2010
You've got a copy too.
that Mr. Oros emailed, and I got a copy of it, says, we're taking over the lawn care.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if it's something that we would like to let the administration look at this, give them another 30 days, and then come back to it and see what kind of, something that we can do that makes everybody happy so that we're not giving one specific group.
I'm not a member of that subcommittee, but I have a quick question. How does this agreement differ from the agreement that John Augustine was just talking about? And could the next board theoretically choose to renege on that contract?
With Piper?
With Piper? Just like, I mean,
But
to me, the contract for use of the property, and if we change the contract after the fact here, would it make sense that you would also change the contract on? It just seems to me that.
This
No,
agreement,
Dave.
This is a contract that terminates by its own terms within a 5-year period. It's under a temporary
Right.
extension right now.
Piper.
Pinebrook does not terminate that way, so the park district couldn't unilaterally, without the land use agreement, make changes to that other one.
My recommendation would be to let park management, myself, handle this. If your wish is to renew for 2 years, I think myself and my staff can handle this.
So I mean, let's be honest, we just did the shutter vote, you can't pick favorites over one group, so.
I think that we have established a sort of tradition with this group that has been recognized for some decades, and that we shouldn't put any trepidation or feel uncomfortable about extending it for a 2-year period, and we can reevaluate whether it has continued vitality at the end of that time. And in the meantime, members of the public will continue to enjoy complete access to the lake following the same permitting procedures that are
Well, I would disagree
available.
with you on that one.
I understand.
Just leave you the.
There's a copy between two lawyers here.
Yeah,
That's
to the
not good.
administration.
Ms. Shelby, did we answer all your questions, though? I want to make sure that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's a public park. The people don't say to me that we are choosing one group of people and that we're not allowing anybody else use of the park. So if you all would look over it with whatever needs to happen, whether they need to start pitching in with mowing again, or, you know, use permits on the lake, whatever's happening down there. You know, technically it's labeled a preserve. So technically, if we would go back to some of the other preserves, it would be very, very limited use. And right now, I see Bass Lake as one of our preserves, having far more use than most of the, all, am I wrong? It's having far more use than all the other preserves.
John, you have a problem with a 5-year extension?
I simply, no matter what the term, I simply think the next executive director needs to be brought into the loop. That's all.
Do you want to have me amend my motion to a 5-year extension of the use agreement?
If he doesn't, no, I think, I agree with the 5-year. I'm at a little bit of an odds with John on this, because the executive director, whoever he may be, is going to be involved in this regardless. Whether it's tomorrow or today or 5 years from now. So I'd say, no, I'll go along with the 5 years.
I amend my motion to extend the use agreement for 5 years with an effective date of July 1, 2015.
I'll second that.
Motion is second, Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mrs. Shelley.
No.
Mr. Warndorf.
Yes.
I'll talk to you later.
Mr. Foster, thank you for coming back.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. On a separate issue, we do still have the issue of the letter from the attorney at Ohio EPA. I would like to, for the sake of scheduling the removal, the proposed removal of those recreational amenities, I would like to move on that.
John, thank you again for making the inquiries. I will be happy to move to remove the remaining recreational facilities that are offensive to EPA.
All right. For a second. Mr. Gertz. Mrs. Schellner.
Yes.
Mr. Warndorf.
Yes,
Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone from the Bass Lake community, Bass Lake Club for coming. Thank you, it's good to hear your perspectives.
Yes.
So, I will contact you, Tom. Yes, thanks. Thanks for coming. Moving on. Heard Mr. Warndorf's inquiry at the last meeting. I provided you with some information on what we have for a vehicle, if you will. It's a glorified electric golf cart for getting people with certain mobility issues out in our parks, out to our programs. So I provided you with that information. It's simply information at this point. What we are requesting to do is Michelle and her staff, and I'll be meeting with them tomorrow actually for a vision planning meeting, is that before we spend more money on a vehicle or a mobility device, that we program around that. So we determine what the need is, what the use is, who we're going to target for a park customer, if you will, and that we come up with the program concepts first before purchasing anything else. Because quite frankly, the one we have now, it does sit quite a bit. But it is available to us for
And
people
it's operational.
with mobility. It is. We just put new batteries in it. It's operation.
John,
Can
could
we
you,
move it around?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can trailer it. Yeah.
trailer for Central Park, could you elaborate for just a minute on the discussion we had in regards to the tractor and the trailer that we already own?
We've got a large, for lack of a better term, it's a glorified hay wagon. We've got a large wagon that some of you may remember was horse-drawn. We do pull that wagon with a tractor. The lower seats on that wagon, they will accommodate people with mobility issues, so we are able to use that tractor and that wagon at Swine Creek, for example. I'm not sure what else has been programmed here in recent years. It'll be at Fall Fest in October, so
Okay.
it will accommodate people.
Well, I'm glad to hear that our Easy-Go cart is still available for special events or special requests. And I agree with your recommendation to not get ahead of ourselves by purchasing another one until we've got more clear ideas on what programming we want. So, Michelle, thank you, and I hope that something fruitful comes with your meeting.
Thank you.
John, I think I'm the cart manager of the fair. We take care of 47 carts a year. I've been doing it for over 10 years. Always had Easy-Go. Last year was the first year that I had any issue with Easy-Go because they changed their engines. They weren't good. So it's good that we're sitting on this one.
Thank you.
Work on engines, replacing how many? 8 batteries? Okay. All right, moving on, next topic for discussion is the review and amendments, proposed amendments to the bylaws. And if you have any questions, I'm going to defer to Mr. Andre, because he's provided many of the recommendations in this regard, or some of the recommendations in this regard.
My only comment to that is it's basically a one-word change. And, you know, that's okay. These people all understand what a meeting is and what a session is, but I don't disagree. It's much easier to call it a meeting. David, I agree with you.
That was just housekeeping.
You know, that pretty well sums it up. They're just changing the word from a session to meeting. Fine.
Well, and there are also some things about how we're declaring the purpose, which was brought out in a public comment to us by this lady in red, that we had unintentionally omitted referencing that we would be publishing the purpose of a special meeting, for example, or an emergency meeting.
And Jeff, could I comment about Article 16, because I don't think that's on the second page. I don't think that was necessarily brought up at the last meeting. The change, which was referred to earlier in the public comment, was I recommended a sentence, the very last sentence: comments from the public to the board are requested to be limited to 3 minutes or less unless permitted by the president. And the motivation for that was a couple different things. The current language simply said that the board needed to provide ample time for public comments with some qualifications. I felt that given the level of public comment, we may be heading towards arguments about what is ample time. So I simply was trying to clarify what exactly the time limits for public comment were to be. 3 minutes is a number I picked up because I know that those kind of standards have been upheld in some court decisions. When public comment is allowed, you could make it greater. I would advise making it anything less than that. So those were the new changes to Article 16, and it only came about really because we were reviewing these the bylaws and trying to address the issue about a proper rule for notification of the public meetings. So this sort of came along to it without any intent to prohibit public comment, but to make it so that you have a standard that is clear to everyone and is less subject to argument about what it means as the current language by at the time.
Correct.
Let's do this, because a lot of folks here don't have this in front of them, and because this was the subject of a comment earlier in our meeting, let's just read Article 16 as it's proposed. Its new title would be Meeting Agenda. Meeting agenda of the park board shall be prepared following a discussion prior to regular meetings between the ranking official of the Geauga Park District staff, which would normally be the executive director, and the president of the board. Adjustments to the published agenda are allowed at the discretion of the president of the board or a majority of the commissioners of the board present. And then here begins the language that Mr. Andre has just addressed. Following topics will typically be included on the agenda of all regular park board meetings in the following order, subject to such modification as the president may determine as set forth herein. Comments from the public to the board are requested to be limited to 3 minutes or less unless permitted by the president, and as stated by Mr. Andre, it is not our intention to somehow reduce the opportunity for democratic participation. Instead, we recognize that we're trying to recognize that we can't allow unlimited time, but certainly there are some circumstances that warrant more than 3 minutes, and if those circumstances present themselves, hopefully we can find our way to doing that. much as we did tonight with having Mr. Foster address us on this special use agreement. And then there's a numbered list of the order with the proposal to move the public comment earlier in the agenda after the approval of the minutes. I, for my part, understand and respect the fact that there is a need to allow an opportunity for comment. I also think that there's a need for the board to have some control over its operations and meetings, and so I don't think that a request to limit comments to 3 minutes is outrageous. I think it's satisfactory, but I certainly don't intend to sit up here with a egg timer and gavel somebody down if they have something to say that takes longer than 3 minutes. Bill, do you have any ideas on this that you'd like to share?
Well, I reviewed David's letter, and I reviewed the new setup on the agenda. I have no problem with that. I think that bringing the public in the middle of the meeting, so they don't have to sit there and listen to our ranting, is a good idea. And let's face it, today, 3 minutes, they could have had probably 10, because there were only a couple people who talked. But 3 minutes is a good time. I mean, if you can't get your act together in 3 minutes, press us, hey, we'll meet you later.
So are you making a motion to?
I'll take a motion that we accept the change.
Thank you.
And that would be the changes to
The new,
Articles 4, 5,
Right.
6, 8, 10, and 16, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I would,
Article 19 requires you to submit amendments in writing the previous meeting before you actually vote on the amendments.
Mr. Andre.
First of all,
Excuse me.
I would make the comment that interruptions, such as point of order, are not permitted at these meetings. And I would urge you in the future, when people randomly interrupt and say they want to bring a point of order, and do not have standing to do that, they can bring up any objections they want during public comments or letters to you. Second of all, I was about to say, before it being interrupted, that I would recommend, for the very reason cited, to hold off on Article 16, because the argument would be that it wasn't presented in writing at the last meeting.
And it has to wait one full meeting, correct? Correct.
Is there any preference then of us adopting the other amendments to the other articles now and saving that one for a later date to,
But that's what we just said, that we'd hold 16 till next.
well, I'm just saying, we could wait on all of them and then adopt them all at the same time as the other alternative. Does it really matter?
I think that would be an efficient way to proceed.
Let's do that. Let's
Table.
But our
I
recommendation,
move that we table these amendments until our next monthly meeting. That will allow additional opportunity for people to review them if they so wish. And if there are no further comments, then we can adopt them in our meeting in July.
And correct me, Dave, but we need to publish these so that
No.
people can review them?
Well, certainly there are public records that people can review them. They simply need to be in writing for your introduction to the meeting.
Yeah, by publish, I just mean make them available to anyone who might be interested.
so they'll be entered into the meeting minutes, be entered into the record.
Okay.
With that in mind, I'll remove my.
So I move that we table any further consideration of the proposed bylaw amendments until the July meeting.
I'll take it. As long as we're going into July, next month, that's fine.
Okay, 2015. Well, I- yeah.
We